You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit Radio. Have no fear. Mr. Credit is here. We are live and local in San Diego, bringing you the most important hour in radio and telling you everything they don't want you to know. When we say they, we mean the Wall Street gangsters, the government, the banks, the bureaus, the media, anybody who's trying to feed you misinformation in order to cause you to spend your money unwisely or take it from you directly. Visit MrCreditRadio.com. We just got a new design up. I want to thank my assistant, Corinne, for that. She did a great job. And it looks good. Got a big microphone in there. Check out MrRadio.com or MrCreditRadio.com and send me an email through there. Or you can go to Facebook and do a search for Mr. Credit and find me there. I've been on a anti-Padres boycott of the boycott, but we must mention, because we do play all the Padres games here, that the Padres beat the snot out of Colorado yesterday, 13-3. And I'll tell you this right now. I don't mind being kicked off the air for the broadcast of the Padres game if the Padres are going to win by 10. You can have it. You can have it. I just want the W. We're going to have a 3-game lead over L.A. for first place, and they play tonight at 7 p.m. against the Astros downtown at Petco Park. I checked it like 5 times, so I'm 100% sure that the Padres play tonight at 7, and you can listen to all of the action right here on San Diego 1700. Even if you go to the game, put in the headphones, get on the radio, listen to the broadcast. Good stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about some really important stuff. First, biggest credit scoring myth in existence. I can't believe how many people think this. Even lenders and loan officers out there, people in real estate, people who deal with credit, auto brokers even think this, and it's wrong. It is wrong, wrong, wrong. And people actually try to save up a lot of money and end up spending a lot of money trying to do this thing to have a better credit score, and it doesn't work. I'm going to tell you all about that. We're also going to go through the biggest credit scoring conspiracy that exists, which has to do with the bureaus directly, indirectly through the banks. Going to go through that. And we're going to talk about why the banks getting free money from the government for an extended period of time could actually save you a bundle when it comes down to it. You just got to know what to look for. But first, pretty funny story. There's I thought I was being prank called, to be honest with you, at first. And then I realized how serious this guy was. But the fella calls me. And, I've heard a lot of people who need to improve their credit for a lot of reasons, whether it's for employment, whether it's to get a car loan, whether it's to get a home loan, whether it's to refinance their home, whether it's to get, some sort of product that they're trying to buy, a lease of some sort of product, whatever it may be. But this guy calls and tells me, he leaves me a message saying that the woman of his dreams is not going to marry him unless he improves his credit. And I instantly think, wow, we have got us a smart lady here. She's a keeper. She's a keeper. She recognizes that he has been a stooge, and he needs to straighten up if he's going to actually get the honor of wedding her. Now, speaking to the guy was a whole different story. I thought it was a prank call at first. I laughed when he told me the story, and he immediately let me know that he was dead serious. Now, I haven't seen a picture of the lady. I've never talked to her. I have no idea what we're working with here, but when it comes down to it, I have a feeling that I might actually be in trouble if I can't get this guy's credit score up good enough or get his report cleaned up enough for her to marry him. Now, it sounds like an empty threat, right? No one would do that. Who actually cares that much? I mean, if you're in love with somebody, you don't care. If they have bad credit, you want to help them. But to each their own. Maybe it's Persis. I didn't even think about that. Do you think it's Persis, Brooke? Maybe it's Persis. She's the most hypervigilant person I've ever met about her credit before. Maybe he's going out with her, and she told him, sorry, buddy, I'm going through a little modification. I've had my credit dinged, and my score is still higher than yours. You got to sit on the sidelines until you can't get into the game until your credit score goes higher. So, anyhow, after speaking with the guy for a few minutes, realizing how serious he was, the situation is pretty straightforward. He's got a lot of collections. Now, where do collections come from? Collections come from ignoring your bills. If you don't pay them, eventually they'll send it to a collection agency to try to get the money from you. Okay, they're not just going to let the thing just die off. It doesn't work that way. Now, if you have a credit card with Bank of America, let's say, and you stop paying them, there's a very good chance that they will send it to a third party to collect. They won't collect it in-house. They'll sell it to somebody. And you'll think to yourself 8-10 months later, well, they haven't said anything about it. Huh, I guess they're just going to let me get away with it.
I'm Rick James.
No, you aren't. They are coming after you, especially if it's any amount of money. I mean, we've seen people get sued over $128. Remember the lady in Minnesota who went to jail because she didn't appear in court after she got sued for that $300 deal? It was like $175 to begin with. Yeah, that's how it works. So when you have these collections, just because the original creditor hasn't started following up with you or has stopped following up with you, that doesn't mean that you're getting a free ride. That just means that the collection agency they have sold it to is waiting for the proper time to come to you to try to get their money.
More money, more money, more money.
Because they know that timing is everything when it comes to this stuff. They're not just going to sue you immediately. What if you're unemployed? What if things aren't so good? They're going to pay close attention to what's going on with your situation. They're going to run these little skip tracers. McDonald's told me about these. William McDonald from the McDonald Legal Group. Remember, he got his start in law with a big company that was doing collections. Eventually, he moved to the bankruptcy practice because he wanted to be on the consumer side. He got to see from the inside how ugly it was. And that's what they do. They spy on you. They look at your stuff, and they can do this because guess who provides them the information? The stinking credit bureaus. They sell it to them. They let them know, hey, this guy's got a lot of debt. This guy doesn't have a lot of debt. He's not taking on new accounts. He is employed. He is making this much. He just moved into a new place, etc. They'll know exactly.
What are you doing?
They'll know. They'll know exactly what you're doing. And when the time is right, bam, they'll sue you. And when that happens, usually you have to pay. You either get your wages garnished or you got to write them a check. You get two choices. What are you going to do? Well, in this case, this young fellow who was not going to be able to marry the woman of his dreams, she said, no way. Your credit report is too messed up. And big kudos to her for looking at his credit report. Look, can we mandate that right now on the Mr. Credit Radio Show? Let's do that right now before you marry anybody. In fact, at the beginning stages of the relationship, let's start pulling credit reports. Okay, remember you go to kumic.org, CUMIC.org. You need to apply if you want to be my boo. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Because you got to find out if the guy that you're looking into is.
I ain't one of those front door kind of guys. I come through the back door.
See, if you have one of those kind of guys, like Junior Seau, for example, you need to know that up front.
Really?
Yeah, Junior. Calling you out, buddy. Because you didn't retire, right? Anyhow. That's a whole nother thing with Junior Seau. Anyway, the guy has all these collections. She found out about it. Good for her. Because in the end, you get married. Now you just married into this collection situation. They're going to start coming after you, too. They might even start reporting these collections on your credit report. I've seen this happen. It's not legal, but they do it. Because the FTC they don't enforce anything. Fair Credit Reporting Act is a beautiful piece of legislation, but the government doesn't enforce it. It looks good on paper, but in the end, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. It's too weak. So he's got all these collections. She doesn't want a piece of that, and she's smart. Because that tags her credit report. She loses 100 points just like that. Now, he had it was just shy of 40 grand in collections. He is working one of those dream job deals, like a surfer board shop thing. So he's not in a position to make any kind of lump sum payments. He's not in a position to settle these debts at all. If his wages get garnished, he is in bad shape. So what's the solution? What do you do, Mr. Credit? What do I do if I've got all these bills and I can't pay them? The answer is easy. Call William McDonald with the McDonald Legal Group. 858-437-0103. I guarantee he'll qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It'll be the easiest thing he's ever done in his life.